fire, floods, earthquakes, chemical spills, power blackouts. A disaster can come in any form, natural or man-made. Do you know the emergency response systems that are in place in your community? Will you be ready to help keep your family and neighbors safe? This series is designed to help you and your family prepare for an emergency situation. After all, we may have no warning. Are you ready? There are 3 basic steps to prepare for a disaster. Make a kit by putting together a supply of important items. Make a plan for your family, home, and neighborhood. Be informed about different types of emergencies. Your whole family can be involved in putting together your emergency kit and other planning efforts for emergencies. Being prepared will actually help ease any anxiety that family members might have.
All right, boys, are you ready to put together our disaster preparedness kit?
Yes.
You are? We got lots of stuff to pack. You guys know what goes in it?
Batteries and this and this.
Well, yeah, that's right. We have a battery-powered radio with extra batteries. What are these?
Flashlights.
So we should have at least 2 flashlights.
And that.
We have a first aid kit. We're going to make sure we got to
water.
include that.
And water.
Well, how much water do we need?
We got our water here. We need 1 gallon per person per day for 3 to 5 days. That's a lot of water.
We also need non-perishable food that'll last 3 to 5 days, like peanut butter, which I love.
And what about Skittles?
We'll need water and food for Skittles.
Okay, let's pack water and food for the cat.
Great. I've put together a list of all of our emergency contacts and personal information for each of us. So we will put that into a plastic bag. It also includes photos of us and things like insurance, social security, any medical emergency information, and medicine.
Do you have a photo of Skittles?
Of course we'll include a photo of Skittles too. Great idea. What about Mrs. B down the street? She lives alone and it can be hard for her to walk. What should we do to help her?
I don't know.
Well, let's make sure she knows about the Del Mar Community Connections Nest program.
They can help her get prepared.
They have volunteers that can help her. Okay, now we've got everything together. I say we make and pack our kit. You guys ready?
The Neighborhood Emergency Support Team consists of neighbor volunteers giving a hand to those Del Mar residents who have trouble walking and may need help during a disaster if our first responders are unable to assist. A disaster can be a scary experience for anyone, but such an event could be especially terrifying for those who have trouble walking. The aim of the NEST program is to provide residents with assistance from their neighbors.
In the NEST program, that is the Neighborhood Emergency Support Team, we will match each program participant with 2 of their neighbors who will help them take simple steps to plan ahead for disasters, help the participants make decisions should a disaster occur, call their emergency contacts, and help them with their prearranged evacuation plan if needed.
If you, a neighbor, a family member, or a friend are interested in learning more about this program, please call the Del Mar Community Connections office for further information.
Fire is fast. In less than 30 seconds, a small flame can get completely out of control and turn into a major fire. It only takes minutes for thick black smoke to fill a house or for it to be engulfed in flames. Household fires are the most frequent. People that die in a fire usually die from the heat and smoke. Some things to consider to reduce the risk in your home. Practice evacuating. Find 2 ways to get out of each room. Make sure the windows are not stuck. Practice feeling your way out of the house in the dark. In the kitchen, avoid leaving food unattended on your stove. Ask your local fire department to inspect your residence for fire safety and prevention. And don't forget to change the batteries in your smoke and carbon monoxide alarms every 6 months. When you change your clock back or ahead, change your batteries. If you are a participant in the NEST program, your volunteer assistant can help replace your batteries and make sure the smoke alarm is working properly. If you have particular concerns, be sure to discuss it with your volunteer. Candles are one of the most common causes of fires, so please use candles on a non-combustible surface and away from flammable materials. Never leave a candle unattended. They can easily be knocked over by pets, children, or a draft from an open window. Never overload power outlets and never place extension cords under the furniture or carpet. Another common cause is faulty wiring. Make sure all switches are in good order and working properly. Make sure you have a registered, licensed electrician make any repairs. The majority of heating-related fires are not caused by a home's furnace, but rather space heaters. If you must use a space heater, ensure that it sits on a flat surface and is kept away from materials that could burn. In the San Diego area, wildfires are a reality. Please work with your neighbors to clear vegetation around your homes, alleys, canyon, and lagoon rims. Remove foliage and flammable brush within 30 feet of each home, if possible. Remember, any preparation you make prior to an emergency can mitigate damage to your home and neighborhood.
Preparing for an earthquake takes a little time, but can reduce a lot of damage. First, identify key hazards that need to be secured. Anchor bookshelves, remove heavy objects above beds, and strap water heaters to wall studs. Know when and how to turn off utilities. Learn how to manually open garage doors and security gates. Keep sturdy shoes next to your bed. If an earthquake occurs and you are inside, drop to the ground and take cover by getting under a sturdy table or other piece of furniture. Hold on until the shaking stops, or crouch in an inside corner of the building and cover your face and head with your arms. Stay inside until the shaking stops and it is safe to go outside. Many fatalities occur when people run outside of buildings only to be killed by falling debris. You have your emergency bag already, so grab it when safe and leave the building. Be aware that the electricity may go out or fire alarms may turn on. Watch the utilities portion of Are You Ready videos for further instructions on turning off gas, water, and electricity. If an earthquake occurs and you are outside, stay there. Move away from buildings, street lights, and utility wires. Once in the open, stay there until the shaking stops. Ground movement during an earthquake is seldom the direct cause of death or injury. Most earthquake-related casualties result from collapsing walls, flying glass, and falling objects. Remember, if you are a NEST volunteer, take care of your family first and then assist your neighbors who may need help. Do not move seriously injured persons unless they are in immediate danger of further injury. Call for help. Listen to a battery-operated radio or television for the latest emergency information. Be aware of a possible tsunami if you live in coastal areas. These are also known as tidal waves. When local authorities issue a tsunami warning, assume that a series of dangerous waves is on the way. Stay away from the beach. Talk to everyone in your household about what to do if a tsunami occurs. Create and practice an evacuation plan for your family. Familiarity may save your life. Find out about your school's evacuation plan so you know where to pick up your child. Get to know your community's warning systems and disaster plans, including evacuation routes. Return home only when authorities say it is safe. In the San Diego area, our soil is dry and cannot hold a lot of water. Some floods may develop slowly, creating puddles, while others, such as flash floods, can develop in just a few minutes. Be aware of flood hazards no matter where you live or work. Being prepared and thinking ahead will minimize damage. The electricity may fail. On your battery-operated radio, tune in to the National Weather Service, AM radio, or television for current information. Should flooding become imminent, evacuate to higher ground immediately. Do not cross swift-moving water. Follow advice of authorities on the evacuation route and available shelter. Do not attempt to drive through a flooded road. The roadbed may be washed out under the water and you could be stranded or trapped. Do not drive around a barricade. Barricades are there for your protection. Stick to designated evacuation routes. Unlike an earthquake or a fire, a biological attack may not be immediately obvious. You should watch TV, listen to the radio, or check the internet for official information on symptoms, medications, or vaccinations being distributed. Follow instructions of doctors and other public health officials. In case of power blackouts, be sure to have available flashlights and know where they are located. Make sure you have a 3-day supply of water and non-perishable foods. Make sure you have a battery-operated radio and know where it is located. Make sure you have a cell phone and a car charger for it. If you have mobility issues, contact the NEST program to match up a neighbor volunteer to help should you need it. Practicing your emergency plans makes the appropriate response more of a reaction, requiring less thinking during an actual emergency.
When a disaster strikes, it often affects one or more utilities. You need to know ahead of time when to take action, where and how to turn off your gas, electricity, and possibly water, and any tools you may need to do so. There are some simple steps to ensure you can safely take care of your utilities. If you are helping a friend or nearby neighbor make these decisions, it's also important to learn where their utilities are located, how to turn them off, and any tools you may need. If you suspect the shutoff valve is not working properly, call the utility company for an operational check. A little planning and practice now will save you precious time during a real emergency. You'll typically find your gas meter near the house, outside of the building. Here's our gas meter, and you can see that one of the things we've done is we've hung a wrench nearby for easy access if we do need to shut it off. This is a good way. You want to have it easily accessible. If you do have small children, you may want to put it out of their reach, but still easily accessible. The valve is currently in the open position. One of the ways to tell it's open is it's vertical, the valve is vertical, and it's just kind of in a line, allowing the gas to flow through. So in order to turn the gas, we'll take the wrench and rotate it 90 degrees. This is the closed position. Okay. It's kind of natural because the horizontal closed position shuts the valve off. Now remember, you only want to turn this off if you smell the gas, because once it is shut off, you can't turn it on yourself. You have to wait for the gas and electric to turn it back on. If you believe that you have an electrical hazard in your house, the first thing to do is locate your electrical panel, which is typically outside the building. Once you locate the electrical panel, in order to mitigate the electrical emergency, go to the panel, open it up, locate your individual circuits, and shut them off first. This will then allow you to safely turn off the main breaker, which will cut electricity to the building. If you do believe you have an electrical hazard in the building, this is the best way to eliminate that hazard. Once the electricity has been shut off to the building, you want to make sure that you contact the fire department or gas and electric before you turn it back on to make sure it's safe to do so. Most homes have a variety of different types of shutoff valves. This is an inline valve, or sometimes you'll also have the faucet style. You want to turn those off by turning them to the right all the way. The valves have a tendency to rust, so it's important to exercise them occasionally and replace them out as necessary. This is an inline valve, and it's open right now, and we can tell it's open because it's pointing in the direction that the piping is. If we want to shut it off, it's really quite simple. All we have to do is take it and turn it 90 degrees so the valve is closed. That is the off position. To turn it back on, we just turn it that way. Not all homes have these inline valves. And so if you have an emergency situation where you need to turn the water off, you might have to go down to the meter and turn it off with a key. If we do turn the water off at the meter, you're going to need a special tool. This is a smaller version of a water key. The water key just simply fits over this side of the valve, and then we'll turn 90 degrees to shut it off. You may turn the water back on once authorities have agreed it is safe to do so. And of course, if you do have to turn the water on or off for non-emergency reasons, it's always recommended that you contact our Public Works Department.
Once again, the 3 basic steps to ready your family for an emergency. Make a kit by putting together a supply of important items. Make a plan for your family, home, and neighborhood. Be informed about different types of emergencies. And remember, a disaster can occur with no warning. Are you ready?